Hello, I'm Tom Ziska. This is Fox 26 Crime Files. A 7-year-old rescued from deplorable conditions is now doing okay after both her parents were arrested. Police say the Spring family used their suburban home as a, quote, house of prostitution. Fox 26's Dominique Keith has been looking over court documents in the case and brings us the new details.
In this Spring subdivision of manicured lawns and well-kept homes, what detectives say was happening in this house where Richard and Rose Colton live caused neighbors to not only complain to the HOA about the outdoor decor, but to also call Crime Stoppers about what they believed was happening inside.
They saw people coming and going at late hours of the night, that there was a 7-year-old female in this house also, in the same room to where this lady was alleged to be conducting sex acts.
The home is listed online as the Blooming Rose Crisis Counseling Center, but after weeks of surveillance, the Precinct 4 Constable's office says it was far more than therapy being offered here.
A couple of nights ago, our undercover units had set up a appointment with this female that was basically prostituting herself out of this home. This was an elaborate scheme to where these folks would advertise on the dark web.
Rose Colton is now charged with prostitution and endangering a child. Her husband, Richard Colton, is also charged with child endangerment for, according to this court document, putting Rose's 7-year-old daughter, quote, in imminent danger by allowing sex buyers to enter the home where the child lived.
As a father and a grandfather looking at this, it's pathetic.
Investigators took these photos inside the house.
The house was in total disarray.
The 7-year-old is now in CPS custody. Investigators don't believe the child had been sold for sex yet.
This here was a dark situation, regardless of whether, she was or she wasn't, that could have led down a bad path for this 7-year-old had it kept going.
The constable says the investigation is ongoing and more charges are likely. Now, Richard Colton's bond has been set at $15,000. Rose Colton's initial hearing has been rescheduled pending a mental health evaluation. I'm Dominique Keith, Fox 26 News.
Next, to an exclusive report about a YouTuber who raps about robbing banks, arrested accused of robbing a bank. One of 4 people from Houston arrested in an ATM robbery in Tennessee. Fox 26's Matthew Seedorf shares the story of art imitating life.
In a now ironic YouTube music video, rapper 213 Jug God can be seen with a gun on his waist.
We can't let you lose control.
Rapping about robbing banks out of state, praying he makes it home.
Damn, what's taking long?
On Tuesday, the rapper, along with these 3 others from Houston, were arrested out of state near Nashville, Tennessee, accused of robbing an ATM technician at gunpoint.
If you're going to rap about it and then turn around and be about it and you get caught, that's on you. You shouldn't do stupid crap. And you definitely shouldn't violate the law and talk about it.
Police found these stacks of cash with Darius Dugas, Sassandre Dugas, Christopher Alton, and Dijon Riley, also known as 213 Jug God. The rap name possibly in reference to jugging, when burglars follow unsuspecting people home from banks or malls to steal.
They want to glorify the fact that they're criminals. And that saddens me because we have all these kids watching this and they're glorifying it, and these kids look up to them. It's dumb. These guys are dumb. They deserve to be tossed under the jail just for being dumb.
Online criminal records revealed Darius Dugas and Dijon Riley were out of jail on felony bonds, both arrested several times before.
Convicted felons doing their music videos with guns. How dumb is that? That right there is enough to get them charged again if they do something like that.
Getting this money, we just praying that we make it home.
The Make It Home music video now gaining views after the arrest.
We just praying that we make it home.
One person commenting, looks like you didn't make it home.
Matthew Seedorf, Fox 26 News.
A distraught dog owner is demanding answers after her pet and 3 other dogs were stolen from a southeast side vet spa. Her dog and another are not mentioned in the police report. Fox 26's Randy Wallace has this only on Fox Report.
Happy birthday my dear Tucker.
Tucker is a family member to us. He is more than just a dog.
My wife adores the dog. He was an emotional support dog for her.
Tucker was supposed to stay 10 days at Maine and Mink's Vet Spa at 4936 Griggs Road while his owners were in Jamaica. Tuesday, day 7, Anisha Pittman got a call saying Tucker had been stolen.
We had a break-in, and her puppy was stolen, and 3 other dogs were stolen.
The other dogs, 2 of them were your dogs?
There was on the customer dogs. They were consignment.
Well, how did it happen? How did the break-in occur?
They broke in the building through the back.
Our dog is not listed as one of the missing dogs on the police report.
The only dogs mentioned in the police report are your 2 dogs.
Right. She had said that, but we already, we're waiting on a call now from the police department to resolve that issue because the officer didn't write all his notes down correctly.
So you told the officer that it's those 2 dogs, her dog, French Bulldog.
And an additional dog, correct.
And what was the additional dog?
Boston Terrier. I think it's Boston Terrier mix.
We asked the owner for pictures of the other 3 stolen dogs, but didn't get anything. We've got a number to help find Tucker on our website. Randy Wallace, Fox 26 News.
A senseless shooting in Harlem, New York City took the life of a mother of a star athlete at Houston Baptist University. Fox 26's Tiffany Justice has that story.
He was named the Male Athlete of the Year on our campus this year.
The Houston Baptist University basketball program, classmates, professors, and friends now reeling over the loss of a talented young man, 21-year-old Darius Lee, a senior and a skilled basketball player on the HBU basketball team. His high school coach saying he was one of the best, talented on and off the courts.
Full of positive vibes. He's someone that everyone would root for. He's a hometown hero.
According to New York police, Darius Lee was shot and killed at a gathering in Harlem overnight. 6 other males and 2 other females were wounded, and sources say there were dozens of shots fired by multiple shooters. Gun violence impacting every facet of society. Athletic director Steve Maniaci says he knows it's a fact.
It is a fact. I mean, there's a rash of gun violence going on right now, and you'd like to never think that you're ever going to be a part of it, but unfortunately, it's hit home for us. And, at some point, it's got to stop.
An outpouring of grief on social media. Darius was on track to graduate with his bachelor's degree in December. Professors say Darius was a great student that had everything in front of him.
If you walked in a room and saw 30 basketball players, you would never think Darius Lee was the best player in the room by the way he walked and the way he carried himself. He was just that unassuming. He was that quiet. He was just a guy who just showed up and did his business.
The university president releasing in a statement, the loss of anyone in the HBU family is a cause for grief, but it's especially painful when we see the death of a student, particularly when so much promise is cut off in such a violent and senseless way.
This was not the welcome wagon. A family new to Houston met with the theft of all their prized belongings. Here's Natalie Heat.
My wife said the U-Haul is not out front. And I thought she was joking because I had the keys in my hands.
Memorial Day weekend was supposed to be the big move-in day for the Smiths to their newly built home in Katy. Instead, this Chicago family was met with a harsh Houston welcome when their entire U-Haul truck with priceless items inside was stolen.
A 15-foot box truck, from U-Haul, and we had, parked it in a parking space right out in front of our apartment. The scary thing was it was about 50 feet away. Our kids were all sleeping on mattresses, baby clothes. There was a lot of baby albums, very personal things.
Harris County Sheriff's deputies said the truck was parked at the Bria Luxury Apartments where the family had been staying temporarily. Surveillance video from a neighbor captures the thieves driving the U-Haul right off the lot around 4:40 a.m. Saturday. Steve Smith said he'd been moving big furniture items throughout the week and started to get paranoid.
We started to think, well, was somebody watching us? They obviously planned it.
2 days later, deputies informed the family their U-Haul had been found abandoned in Cyprus, the wheels stolen, padlock destroyed, and the insides torn apart, with only a few of their precious valuables left behind for the family to retrieve.
There were some ultrasound pictures of our son, kindergarten pictures, and some old baby toys that were kind of sentimental.
But Steve says the worst part is the stuff they've yet to realize is lost forever.
That is kind of a sickening feeling to know that we're eventually going to get all this put away and we're going to realize what was missing, and hopefully it isn't something that we can't replace.
The manhunt for murder suspect Lorenzo White ended in Dallas after investigators say he killed his ex-wife in northeast Harris County overnight. Fox 26's Dominic Keith has the story from Beltway 8 near Tidwell, where the woman was shot while her son was right there at home.
I walked into my house, closed my door, immediately heard the gunshots.
Residents here in Northeast Houston say they just can't believe their neighbor, Lorenzo White, became a wanted man on the run after investigators say White broke into his ex-wife's home, Lisa Daniels, seen here on her Facebook page, a home they once shared, and deputies say White shot and killed her.
As I'm getting out of my friend's car, this man across the street has already bashed the door in and is 2 seconds away from shooting my neighbor, this poor lady who is just the sweetest woman.
Very surprised. I didn't see that coming.
This neighbor, who doesn't want to be identified, has known White since moving here 6 years ago and says White told him he and his wife split up after he had an affair.
He gave his wife and son the house and everything because he knew he was wrong about whatever he did, but he kept coming by, kept coming back, kept coming back.
It was 12:30 in the morning when Harris County Sheriff's detectives say Daniel's 16-year-old son called 911 saying White had broken in. Seconds later, Lisa Daniel was shot several times. She was dead by the time deputies arrived and took her son to safety.
He was just walking with his head down, and it just broke my heart, because I have two sons. I hope he gets what's coming to him, because what he did to that child will forever damage him, and I just pray that he's able to overcome that one day and have a good life.
White supremacist propaganda placed outside dozens of homes in a Houston area neighborhood. Those flyers covered in swastikas call for a violent white revolution. Fox 26's Matthew Seedorf has the story from the Heights.
More racist flyers littering driveways in the Houston area.
I don't know. I'm a loss for words.
Letters promoting white supremacy in bags with rocks left outside Cassandra Pittman's home in Cypress.
I then have to explain to my grandkids what this is.
Up and down their street, she and her grandchildren picked up and threw away as many flyers as they could.
I know that some people feel this way, and I don't understand why.
I just feel like this shouldn't be happening at all. To me, we're all just people. There shouldn't be a difference.
So far this year, we've reported on several of these hate messages left outside Houston area homes, racist flyers found in Katy, Meyerland, the Heights, and Atascocita.
Maybe 1 or 2 weekends have passed by this year without us seeing some form of activity related to the distribution of white supremacist propaganda.
The Anti-Defamation League received more than 4,600 reports of white supremacy propaganda nationwide just last year, almost 500 incidents in Texas.
Every time one of these kinds of distributions happen in a neighborhood is that it wakes something up and they become more committed to fighting hate than ever before.
To bring this here, maybe thinking something was going to happen to set us apart, they were wrong.
The grandma now sharing a message for whoever left this hate-filled letter outside her house.
I love you, and you can't make me hate you. That's all that I can say to them.
And that is this week's Fox 26 Crime Files.